you wouldn't do the things you're doing right now if it wasn't for certain encounters, certain instances, certain stories that have kind of defined you. And if I'm not wrong, you even have a page on Instagram that kind of talks or goes into this a little in depth, right? So maybe where did all of this start? Was it the upbringing? Was it, was there a defining moment? Let us know.
I can honestly tell you that it's nothing to do. I mean, it has something to do with the upbringing, because I definitely wouldn't be doing these things if it weren't for the prayers of my parents. But I can tell you, it's got nothing to do with the upbringing in a way that I was just born into it. Because I can tell you, as a child, I hated going to church. I hated family prayers, because till today I don't understand the family prayers, because they're in the traditional. They're in my mother's tongue, which I do know, but they're in the traditional language, So half the words I'm like, what do these even mean?
Right.
But yeah, as a child, it just didn't make sense to me to sit an hour in church where I don't understand any of the information that's coming in. So, you were mentioning, for some people, it's their career that defines them. It's the income that defines them. I would say for me, my identity would be child of God. Okay. But it wasn't always the case. When I was in school, it was my marks that defined me. So when I studied in Bangalore and I was first in class all the time, came to Bangalore, that kind of reduced. Wasn't first in class anymore. Competition was high. And, more students in the class, and I just became lazy. But my marks still defined me because they were important to my family, and I knew I should. When I was in class 7, I got the lowest anyone in my family has probably got in math for some reason. Which was like 49 on 100. It's not a big deal, but somehow it seemed like a big deal. I remember spending that summer with all my cousins, and there was a lot of mockery around it. I was called 49 for that summer. Like it was like my literal identity was, hey, 49, you come here.
Right.
And it was quite humiliating. It was quite upsetting. It was very disappointing to be discouraged by family like that. So at that time, there was this meeting that was happening in church, and it's what we call a retreat, where we go to church for like 3 days, and there's these sessions happening. They're all in Kannada. I don't understand Kannada. Okay, I do now, but back then, not a word. So I'm sitting there, bored out of my mind, and the guy's preaching, the guy's singing, and all of it is happening, and I just start weeping. And I remember in one of the key moments of that retreat, I remember closing my eyes, and I remember just praying, it's your job. You give me a new brain, and you give me a new heart. You set this right, because I don't think I deserve this. New brain, new heart. New brain, new heart. Went back that summer, all my papers, chemistry 50 on 50, physics 49 on 50, math, 47 on 50 or something, everything. I can't stop studying. It's come to a stage like that. And I remember these words still ring in my ear till today. My father telling my mother, he's become quite studious. Something's changed. I still remember that. And I remember taking that question and saying, okay, this can't just be about studies. And I remember praying every night after that. And again, it became a routine, because I would start praying the same prayers every night, and I eventually got bored of it again. It was just strange. But again, along with that prayer that I prayed, give me a new heart and new brain, I remember when I prayed that, there was this sense of overwhelming peace, overwhelming purpose, if I could mention it. And I remember, as weird as it sounds, with my eyes closed, I saw this vision of a man with a crown of thorns on his head, who was sitting and weeping with me. And that was when I knew I had to step into faith, and obviously it declined over the years. Came to PU, and there was another retreat in the first year. And there these guys said, you know what, y'all need to read the Holy Book, y'all need to read the Bible, y'all need to pray more and stuff like that. So I said, okay, why not give it a shot? And I read it, and again there was this overwhelming sense of peace and purpose. And this time it wasn't just about studies. It was about a whole lot more. It was about be the kind of person that you need to be. In fact, now when I read it, I realized that there are actually these words, give me a new mind, a new heart, in the book. And I'm like, whoa, I was praying this before I knew the book. So clearly there must have been some sort of connection. Started praying, and just started getting a more hunger for the things of God. And I would say slowly I realized that this needs to be the focus, because somehow everything in my life started being defined based on what I do with my time with God. And I started praying, and I realized that Jesus means so much to me. And I just started getting into it more. And I realized this can't be just about feelings, because feelings can come and go, like they came and went when I was in class 7. But this has to be more. I need intellectual proof. I need to know if this is real or not. So I got down to the matter. I started reading books, started doing my own research, started looking for manuscript evidence, started looking for archaeological evidence and what the experts said. And thankfully for me, experts have done their bit in this. So I got to benefit from their works. And it just made sense suddenly. And it was, okay, I cannot be defined by a career. I cannot be defined by my marks. I cannot be defined by my income. I cannot even be defined by a little more love. Everything has to come from, it's basically, I keep telling Little More Love members when they come in, I tell them, we are branches. We cannot bear fruit on our own. If we try doing things by our own effort, it's the equivalent of taking a fruit and stapling it to a tree. We need to get life from the root, which brings out fruit. And I tell them, for me, I've realized that that fruit is God. You go on your journey and realize if it's the same for you. Right? So, so everything comes from that root for me, which is my relationship with God, which is faith. So I would say, that's where I land on faith.
Nice. So you're the only person, to be very honest, who actually talks so passionately about the one, right? You want to talk, it could be different manifestations, different energies that kind of drive you, but you, like you said, your main primary purpose or your primary approach to life is being fueled by something like this, right? Which is quite interesting, because you have gone on to do so many different things with your life, because it could be because of faith, it could be numerous things coming together. But how have you seen this kind of impact in all these places, these junctures, when you decided to kind of take things back to, maybe picking up LML again, or jumping from different jobs, like you said, taking things as it comes, right? Do you see this sort of faith kind of help you lead that sort of purposeful life, and you going back to having to take it one day at a time? Is that what's kind of keeping going, or is it
100%? Because like I said, how I came from school to college to engineering to job, none of it was planned. So clearly there was someone else who was making the plans for me. And even now, with my freelancing, I worked in a sales and marketing firm for 2 years. I was horrible at sales. I was the worst. I don't think you can find a salesman who's worse than me. I have multiple clients now as a freelancer, and I haven't worked on sales and marketing even once in this. It's just been people coming and saying, we want a website, can you help? And I just think that this is provision from above. This is the fruit of keeping God at the center. Because, I can actually quote scripture on this, which says, seek first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added to you. And I think that's the verse that I want to live my life by. Seek first God, everything else will be added to you when it is their time. So LML, plans and ideas come only after a time of prayer. Somehow they just end up happening. Anything else I do, relationship with my loved ones, my family, anyone, my friends, my friendships, all of it seems to be coming from this relationship with God. So without it, I can honestly say I would be absolutely nothing. Absolutely.
So do you also take the conventional approach to God? Do you go to church every weekend? And how different is it when, let's say, your girlfriend or your family or anyone who probably don't have the same vigor or the same sort of beliefs? How do you guys kind of find that sort of right balance? Because of course this is a very sensitive topic, and at the same time, it's something close to a lot of people's hearts, and in this case, of course, yours as well. So how do you handle those kind of instances?
Man, I really hope sometime that my mom doesn't watch this, because this is going to get me into trouble.
Okay.
My family and I do have differences of opinions when it comes to how we approach this subject, because they've been brought up that way, and they really flourish when they go to Sunday church and in a certain traditional way, and they enjoy it. They really love it. I don't. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I just seem that I don't seem to enjoy that. So there are differences of opinions there, and we do have arguments based on that. But ultimately, we just have to stick to the convictions that we have also. Fortunately for me, when I met my girlfriend, she was on the same page as I.
Wow.
And we have grown on the same page together.
What are you saying?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Some people say, oh, okay, I influenced her. Some people say she influenced me. Neither of those are true. We were both, somehow when we met, we were both on the same page. And through the journey, we've walked on the same lines when it's come to this. And thankfully, it's been amazing that way.